Hello. Welcome back. Sorry about that. It was weird. Darius came into the chat, and as soon as Darius said hail, the internet just crashed. And then it was weird because I could see like it was saying like unstable internet connection trying to reconnect, but you guys were still in the chat over there. Hello, Mr. McGregor. Uh, and so then it got all fixed, but it wasn't working. I was checking out my live stream and it wasn't working. So yeah, I had to go back and make a new one. So yeah, in that short amount of time, I did all this inking. It took me like 5 minutes. It's amazing. That's a joke, of course. All right. Yes, blame Darius. Hashtag blame Darius. He is the Trojan horse. Yeah, I was like, oh, what's going on here? And it has a habit of doing that. Like if I have a lot of things going on, like a lot of like my computer isn't the strongest in the world, so if I have my internet connection here isn't the greatest of all, but I mean it does its job. Oh yeah, yeah, it's still got a ways to go. Like I'm not feeling the night down here. I was doing the night in the coffee shop, and I uh, I was tired as hell as I was working on him. And then as I was working on him, I was like, oh man, I'm not liking how this is going. So I'm going to try to really work into the knight here. I'm not feeling him. I haven't done the sword either. I mean, it's okay, but I want to go in there with some uh, and like make his armor shiny. That's the goal, is to make the armor shiny and make the knight. Is Darius, you killed my stream, man. You came in, you said hail, and as soon as you said hail, the stream went. You crushed my stream. No, no, it's not you, man. My internet connection here. I've been wanting to change it for a long time. Um, but if I change my internet connection here, I have to change my home phone, and my home phone is like connected to my home phone is like on my the signs for my school. It's on all the flyers. It's like everywhere. So if I were to change my internet service, then I would have to change my phone, which I just cannot be bothered with that at all. Hey, Master of the TDS, thanks for the sub there. I just saw that. Appreciate it, man. All right, so this was the. I know I said I was going to ink this live, but I lied. I just couldn't resist. I was really wanting to work on it today, so I went to the coffee shop and spent about an hour and a half uh, doing my inkings on this. Really like how the hand's turning out here. It's really creepy, and just like these highlights. But there's some spots like right up here that I'm not happy about, and this whole chest area right here, I've been kind of struggling with that. And the chest area is when I found out that this new Copic white, um, basically, uh, what would you call it? It's not a whiteout, but it's just like the ink that you correcting ink, whiteout ink, wasn't waterproof. And whenever I was inking over it, like it just started smudging everywhere. And then all of the black, the richness of the black went away. It got onto like there was just so many parts that I'd used it in because I was assuming that it was waterproof, but it's not. So it's basically like a last stage ink. Uh, yeah, yeah, of course, man. Like I'm never completely satisfied with anything at all. Never, never. But there has to come a point where you're just like, okay, I can't be completely satisfied to it with it, but I got to put it out there in the open. Oh, no problem, man. Oh man, the Vegas meetup, dude. I felt like there were so many people out there, and it was just there. Oh man, it, I needed like 3 more days out there. And the first night, dude, I don't know when I met him, but I met Stone Loki as well. And I have no recollection whatsoever talking to him. The first night, I was basically, if you wanted to go on levels of drunkenness, on the first night, Nick Weiser, 32 Flavors, he was number one. Right behind him was probably Drunk's three C3 Drunk 3PO, but I wasn't far from him as well. I it was basically a tie for second between like two or three people. So I met a whole bunch of people the first night, had big old conversations with them. The next day, I remembered having conversations with about maybe a few people. I was just out there to, like, I had traveled halfway around the world to go out and have an awesome time with everybody. And I knew that I had 2 nights. So the first night, I just kind of like let it all go. Uh, well, not anymore though, man. What happens in Vegas stays on Facebook for the world to see. No, it was good. But the second night, I ended up talking to more people, and I wasn't as bad the second night as I was the first night. But just, dude, I was so inspired by everybody I met there. Yeah, I know. I was like crazy. Yeah, dude, man. I was like, there's no way I'm going to miss it this time. There's no way I'm going to miss it. I'm going to get my ass over there. Uh, and, I got to visit family as well. So I just killed like 2 dozen birds with one stone, if you know what I mean. There wasn't any way I was going to miss it because I knew it was the inaugural meetup. This was the first meetup of many to come, but many people, and this is my prediction, many people are going to look back on that day in the future and they're going to go, "That's where it started, man." You remember that night in Vegas, the meetup in Vegas, that first one back in 2020 year two, as they like to call it. It's not 2021, it's 2020 part two. And I knew that there was just a part of me that said, you got to get over there. And so I was like, okay. And everything just worked out. But no, I was determined to have an excellent time there. And you guys, man, everybody there was just, I can't explain how inspiring it was. And I've never had this thought in the 20 years that I've lived in Japan. I consider this place my home. This is home to me. And for the first time ever, I didn't want to come back. Like, I didn't want to come back. There were so many people that I met there, so enthusiastic about creating, so enthusiastic about their their loves and their passions. And yeah, and it was just like I went around. I I knew that I couldn't go in there and just be shy. I had to speak to people. I had traveled halfway across the world to meet everybody. And there wasn't going to be any way that I was going to leave that place not meeting as many people as possible. That's why I felt really bad. I didn't feel really bad, but I felt like a little, I had a little bit of regret that the first night I met people. I didn't really have good recollection of everybody I talked to, but then I just knew we had a good time. We had a fun time. And then the second night, I was able to, keep it together better. Met a whole lot of really, really cool people. And I don't know what to say other than just we got to keep it going. Do it again. And it seems like, yeah, Friday night, guys, everybody, you will be going to the next meetup. Yes. And I will be going next year. Um, I will be going. There's no. I'm going to make this part of my annual trip back. All right. But what I would like to have by the time next year is something to for you guys to a physical item, a comic book with artwork by. I don't even know if half of you know my real name, so it's weird. What? Because I am producing a comic book. I'm going to produce at least one, if not two, three, or four. I don't know. But what do you recommend out there? What do you recommend? Do you recommend that I go by my real name, or do you recommend? Yeah, yeah. There was no way I'm not gonna let you guys down. I felt bad making you guys wait there, but internet. Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that you. But for like um for my name that I put on my products that I'm going to be producing in the future, should it be my real name or should it be the Jinja Ninja? What do you guys think out there? What's your opinion on it? Because when we were at the meetup, we didn't go by our real names. Well, not all of us did. A lot of people were going by their YouTube or their Twitter or their aliases. Yeah, I know. I'm so jealous that there's so many meetups going on in the meantime. Like, I would do my best. And the funny thing, Ryan was going through Tennessee, and that's where my brother lives. He was in Nashville, just down the like an hour away from where my brother lives. So I could have easily, if I was still at my brother's place, gone and seen them. But alas. Oh, hey man, that's the TDS. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Appreciate it. And yeah, always thanks again for the sub. And sorry about the little hiccup there with the internet, but it's out of my hands. Hey, now, Andres, you must commit seppuku harikiri. No, it's not your fault at all, man. But maybe Darius, maybe what it is your presence is so large that it took up the rest of my bandwidth and crashed it. But yeah, what do you guys think? Should I go like the Jinja Ninja? I don't think it's a bad thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe just like sticking with that. Why not? I mean, it's kind of weird. That's how it is. Like, oh yeah, you guys feel free to throw in anything you want to in the chat, links, what have you. All right. Oh, Jennifer, thanks for yeah, stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get to work on this here. You guys been waiting for this. I guess I don't. So yeah, where am I at here? My head's all over the place. Oh, that's not the right one. Yeah, you guys want to throw in anything in the chat, links, promote yourself. If you guys Have any channels? Any friends? Anything that you want to shout out? Go for it. Like mi casa su casa kind of thing. Oh, cleaning. It's my worst enemy. I am not. I I could probably. Well, I can't put Ryan to shame, but I would be a very good competitor when it comes to cleaning. I don't know what it is about cleaning. I'll just start cleaning and I get so bored and so distracted that I'll end up unconsciously, I'll just start doing something else. And and then I'll sit there and I'll go, hold on a second, what was I doing? Oh, I was cleaning, yeah. And then I don't know, but now if I know somebody's coming over and I've got like 2 hours before they come over, the adrenaline hits. And when the adrenaline hits, I'm like a cleaning, machine, But until that point, like cleaning is just, I don't know what it is, just not my thing. Darn it. All my dryers are outside. All right, see you later, Jennifer. Thank you again for stopping by. Always appreciate all the support, people showing up, because we've all got like a limited amount of time, and for you all to come out here and even give me a second of your precious time is so, I can't even explain. So humbling. Don't know what to say. Very, very thankful for it. And if there's anything I could ever do to help you guys out, you just let me know. I have to run and grab a hair dryer. I'll be right back. Hey, Janet, I heard you mention. Oh, hello, JT Gunter. Thank you. Thank you for showing up, sir. Coffee in hand. Oh, Jennifer's still here. Hello, Jennifer. It's so hard to say goodbye. I think, Janet, you were mentioning vampires earlier, correct? I was just going to show you a little. This was from a previous live art stream. These are some. These are two models that I had like reference photos of, and I turned them into like the vampire bath house place. I don't know what you would call it. Yeah. And then this isn't a vampire, but it's still like yeah, like a devil woman. Yeah. Yeah, before I ended up like just like, okay, let's throw blood in it. Make them into vampires. Why not? Yeah, so I've got this all of these reference photos. It's basically just a bunch of uh, models from photo shoots, not my photo shoots, but other ones, and it's basically out there for the public use. They are you can use them as long as you're not selling the pictures. You can use them as reference photos. Um, but even though I have those, I I want to have my own work. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, Sherry. It's these are just these are like 4.5, 5 hour ones, maybe. I don't know. Um, yeah, this is just the style. I love working in this kind of style, and like I need to do more like this kind of background work right here. Um, I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. It's just all work in progress. But I like to have my own reference photos, so I'm actually working with. I have one model at the moment, but I'm looking to get more models. But there's a part of me too that working from imagination and like imaginary figures without reference photos, um, they tend to have more. It's weird. They tend to have more personality. You know what? I don't know. I haven't put a price on these yet, but what I usually do with my work is I have them I price them by size. So, for instance, this one. Good question, by the way. Um, and so for a size, let me bring up my administration art prices. I have a whole art price listing. I made it up, and in Japan they work by size here. It you know it just depends on the person, but I like to have a consistent. I don't want to have to sit and think about the price of everything. Hey, thanks, Darius. Thanks for subbing, bud. Um, oh wait. Oh no, so Darius, you subbed to Darius. I was like, Darius was already subbed here. That's weird. All right, so for example, let me go through my. This is an A4 size, so it's gonna be 40 centimeters. No, this is an A3 size. What am I talking about? 40 centimeters by 27.5 centimeters. So if I go to my chart and I look at something that's 37.5 by 40, this is going to be in the $500 range. So I would probably go with something of this size, since it is in ink and it's not in oil paints. I would probably go one price below that, which would put it around the $400 mark. So it'd probably be around $400 for something this size. It's a pretty big piece. And of course, it's all, it's all. Yeah, the red really worked out. So I'm fixing this knee right now. So what I'm doing right now is put down a thing of white ink, and I'm going to go back over that with I actually do 2 layers with my red, because with the red straight out of the bottle, this one right here, the Liquitex red, it's a very, very dark, rich red. But I like to go back in with it and use a yellow wash on it as well. Or I'll do the opposite, and I'll do yellow first, and then go over that with red. Now this red on the body, though, it's actually a yellow and my I don't even know how to say it. It's a magenta. Quinacuridone. I'll read it in Japanese. Quinacuridone. Quinacuridone magenta. Quinacuridone. I don't know how to say that in English. So I use that. It's kind of like it's a magenta color, and then I'll put down a yellow wash first, and then put the magenta on top of that, and that gives it this really red look. Now, one thing that you'll find out, and I'm sure this goes with many things, is that the colors that you see here in my, well, they're pretty much spot on. Yeah, they're pretty much spot on. That's the same look. They might be a little different looking in person. You might see that they're, because I am working with inks and it's not digital, so you're going to see some variations within it. But oh man, I love this yellow though. But it's pretty much going to look like this. Now the problem with using inks. Hey, what's up, Juan? How you doing, man? The problem with any kind of water-soluble, well, inks or watercolors is exposure to light will cause them to fade. So that's why I price them less than I do oil paintings or acrylics, which tend to have a better longevity. But I consider artwork to be an investment. It's basically, you think of it like this. You could be buying something that over time could increase with value. Or it might not increase in value, but it has personal value to you that you can pass along as a heirloom. So it's a type of investment or what have you. So yeah, with this size though, I'd probably go around $400. I don't know if it'll sell or not, but that's the chance you take. But yeah, I wouldn't want to go less than that because it is extremely, unique. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. The only problem right now, let me turn my, hold on a second. Let me turn this off before I tell you this. The only problem right now is sending parcels from Japan to America. They will only do it land mail. Basically, I have to send it by boat. And that will take up to 2 to 3 months to get there. They're not letting you send anything by air. As far as I checked last time, which is a bummer. Oh man, I was supposed to be using a different, darn it. So I would have to look into that and see if they haven't changed. I don't think they've changed the restrictions though. Oh, that's right. You're in Australia. Oh, darn, I keep on forgetting about that. I don't know what the restrictions are like to Australia. Now they have different restrictions depending on the country, so they might be a little bit more lenient about that. Uh, DM me on Twitter. Yeah, just send me a DM and we can talk to each other, and I can yeah, I can hook you up, man. You just let me know what you want. Send me a DM. We can figure it all out. Because I could do an original piece for you, or there's selected pieces that I. You would want an original though, like an original piece that you had in mind. Again, you just DM me and yeah, we'll figure it out there. Man, I love like Tool. Great thing about Tool, man, you just put on a song, especially from their latest album, and it's like 14 minutes. 14-minute song. It's awesome. What song am I listening to now? Yeah, it's just like it's just these epic, really long songs where you just kind of get lost in them. And you're like listening to it, and then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, like, man, am I still in the same song? That's great. Yep, yep. That's a 14-minute song. Love it. Next one's 10 minutes. And then they have another 15-minute one after that. So the main songs of the album are all over 10 minutes long, with a little like 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute interval ones in, here and there. Oh man, Mr. Bungle, dude. Did you? No, I'm listening to Tool right now. Uh, yeah, dude. No, what I meant by original art, what I meant by original art is not like I was using the wrong terms then. What I meant was like art, like original, like something that I haven't done yet. A new piece for you, like a commissioned piece, not a piece that I already done, but a commissioned piece. But either way is fine. You know what I mean? Mr. Bumble. Yeah, that video, dude. That'll do. It's not for the weak of eyes. Yeah, custom piece. That's what I meant to say. Like, man, one thing that has happened, one thing that'll happen to you if you live in another country for 20 years, and the majority of my students are elementary school students. So the majority of conversations I have on a daily basis are, hello, how are you? What food do you like? Do you like lions? What's your favorite season? Just very, very, very basic conversation. And then everything else I do is, other than talking to you guys, for the most part, it's like, you know, extremely basic English. So I forget words, I forget terms, I forget spelling, of course. Um, yeah, my brother always tells me, man, your English has gone to shit. I'm like, yeah, I feel sorry for my students. Not really, though. My cup of tea. Lions are cool. I don't know if I've ever drawn a lion. There are so many things that I've never drawn. But one that could be fun. I remember one of the pictures I saw when I was in Italy. I believe it was when I was in Italy. It was called The Hunt. Was that when I was in Italy? I could be imagining this, but no, I'm pretty sure I saw it when I was in Italy. Oh yeah, Senor Jack Daniels. Does it help with that? No, no, no. Juan, this the one I'm listening to right now is their latest album, which is called. Uh, it's called Fear Inoculum. Fear Inoculum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And oh, well, I teach English and art. I'm in Japan. I have an English school and art school. So I teach. I have students. My youngest one right now is 3 years old. My oldest student is in her 70s. She studies art. Um, in the most part, most of my students are elementary school students. Um, uh, the reason a lot of kids go to English school is now it's becoming compulsory. Um, and they don't really like the English education at most schools here is very, very low. Um, so a lot of parents send their kids to English schools, English conversation schools. Um, and in mine, okay. So Mr. Grant Gregory, yes, we are free to move around and interact with people. Um, everybody wears a mask except for me because I'm a dick. Nobody says anything to me though. Well, I've only had to me, I've had just one person. Um, I don't want to get into it too much, but it was very unfortunate who the person was who kind of like confronted me about it, and I'm still dealing with that at the moment. And mm, it left a very, very sour taste in my mouth, and I'm trying my best to let it slide and not think about it. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just not gonna wear anything, Quan. I'm sorry. I don't feel like it anymore. I've I'm tired of not seeing people's faces. I'm tired of not. This is just my stance on things, though. I mean, I don't. If you want to wear one, that's great. Um, it's your prerogative. I've had COVID. Um, yeah, I don't want to get into it too much because I have my stance on it. I have my beliefs on it. And the thing is, I feel like I should be able to. It sounds kind of maybe it's selfish on my part, but um, I prefer. I just prefer not doing that anymore. It's been 2 years, and the thing is, I know that a lot of people around here have an angel version. Oh, of this? That's good. Well, actually, hold on a second. Well, oh, hold on a second. Funny that you should mention that. I've got a big collection of all of these live arts that I've been doing. Uh, these live art pieces, and this is one of the first ones I did. It's kind of like an angel warrior. She's got her wings, her spear there. And see, this is kind of what like this is the kind of quality I'm wanting to get in the armor of this guy down here right now. I'm going to work on that next. That's kind of like an Angel Warrior I did a long while back. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but I could always do better. I need to try again. Ah, yeah. So what's I talking about? Yeah, so that's next on the agenda. Oh, TV card. Yes, yes. It's funny that you mentioned that because I mean, okay, I said this on a stream once, or I said this. Oh yeah, I was talking to Brightest Day about this, like having a completely original idea, like 100% original idea. And if you sit down and think about it, it's extremely. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it's extremely to have that just 100% original idea. With all the things that we've been exposed to, books, TV shows, music, videos, this and that, all kinds of entertainment. It's extremely difficult to have that like original thought. It's like something is based on something else. So I'll do a piece, and then afterwards somebody will make a comment like, "Oh, that looks like this." With Nicki Minaj. No, 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 no. I, when it comes to my info, man, what I'm, yeah. I just I could see a lot of people around here have gotten the jab, right? They've gotten it. But even though they've gotten it, they will still wait until somebody from, higher up says, "Okay, you can go back to normal now." But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Hey, what's up, Brightest Day? So I'm just kind of taking it upon myself. I'm just gonna, I'm making decisions for myself. That's it. I'm just like, I'm being the asshole in the room, uh, and just doing what I feel like I want to do for myself. And um, uh, if you tell people that you have had COVID, they look at you like you're a walking like corpse. Oh my God, how did you do it? And it's like, well, it's different depending on the person of all different kinds of ages. And I got it. And I don't know. I'm just gonna I've realized that we've got to live with it now. You know what I mean? It's not going away. See you, man. See you, Juan. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Oh yeah, I keep on forgetting it's early in the morning for you guys there. Yeah, man, Brightest Day. This one's fun, dude. This one's coming along quite well. I'm not happy with the knight down here in the bottom, the soldier, whatever you want to call him. I got some more work to do on him, but yeah, the demon thing here is coming out really, really well. It's been fun working on him. Well, I say that now, and like I said before, 5 minutes later, I'll hate its guts. Right now, I like it. Man, Brightest is all over the place, dude. Man, that guy's everywhere. He's a, I mean, he's the backbone. He's the backbone. This guy's out here. Yeah, of course, this character too. So going back to that point about like the original idea, I'll do a piece, and I know somebody will look at this and say, "Oh, well, look, it's Mephisto, or it's a Balrog, or maybe it's some other character." And those kind of, I don't think that's a bad thing, you know? It's just it's unavoidable to me now. It's kind of unavoidable. There's so many characters, so much stuff that's been created out there. You're just bound to like have something that resembles, or and of course it's in your subconscious as well. And I'll do something as well, and I'll look afterwards. I'm like, oh shoot, that reminds me exactly of this. And of course, I wasn't intending on doing it at the time I was drawing it, but it just happens to make its way in there, and it's just part of the whole thing. Now, one thing that, like in art school, that we saw a lot of were, and again, I don't consider this a bad thing at all. Students would kind of like not copy, but emulate other students. And you would see students who were like, "Oh man, I really like what that person's doing," and then they would, you know, try to add that style or that approach in their own artwork. And sometimes it was very evident. Um, but I don't think I always considered that when I see people, like doing kind of things that I'm doing, or they might see my work and like, hey, try to put aspects of that in their own work. I find that very like I'm humble with that. I consider it very an honor if anybody was to look at my work and try to emulate that style. That to me is that's something that's very honorable. Now, if they took a piece of tracing paper and threw it over it and drew on it and then call it their own, now that's a different situation. But yeah, we had a tradition when it came to our art. Um, when you were a senior at our art school, I don't know how it is with other art schools, but in ours, on your oh, okay, man. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem, dude. Thanks. Um, um, you had to do a poster for your senior exhibition, your graduation exhibition, and so for mine, I had done two study abroads in Japan before I graduated college. I did the whole 6 year program, studied for 6 years, and so for my graduation poster, our typography teacher, graphic design and typography teacher, actually, sorry, graphic design teacher, not just typography. Uh, he had, now this is a crazy story from my college days. Well, from the South. Um, I'm originally from North Carolina, grew up in Indiana and North Carolina, and the college I went to was in North Carolina called East Carolina University. Very good art school. Um, and our graphic design teacher, I mean, he was for fun. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah. All right. So you know the whole process I'm talking about then. So my graphic design professor was old school. He did everything on printing presses, like the old printing presses. He had movable type. Uh, he had gone around to like post offices and other places, and just gathered all different typefaces. Um, and it was a huge honor that he asked me to do not one but two posters together. So the first poster that I did was for Um, we had what was it called, a Bose Art Festival. It's like a masquerade party, and so he gave me the project to do an illustration for it. Hold on a second, I'll read over here. I drug these things all the way out from the States back to Japan. So on a big, thick piece of what's this called? Oh darn it! Why am I forgetting this? Well, on some plywood, right? They put like linoleum that you would cut into. Hey, what's up, Canadian Spider-Man? Good to see you here, bud. And so this was the one I did for. This is all like a lino cut, linoleum, and then it's on like a big thick piece of plywood, right? And on his printing press, he would arrange the type, and we would go. I would go to his studio, and we would spend a whole day arranging everything. Linoleum is awesome, dude. I got another one here to show you. So we would spend like a whole day, making sure that the type. Oh, thanks, dude. It's coming along well. Um, yeah, we spent like a whole day printing that, and we would do like, oh, geez, what was it, like a 230, 250 edition. So as soon as those posters were done, the ink was dry. We would take them to the school, and he would keep like some of them, and of course he would keep an original to put up in his studio, which is a very humbling thing when somebody puts your poster up in their studio. Um, and then the rest of them you would give to friends, you would give to people, and you would hang them up all over the college. But the tradition was people would literally be following you. And as soon as you put your poster up on the wall, they would just take it down and steal it and take it back home with them, and steal it. But that in itself was like, wow, that's cool that people are following you and stealing it, especially when it's like some of the upperclassmen, like some of the older students who you're like you can't even talk to them because they're so good. And then they would like, man, this poster is awesome. Don't even bother putting it up on the wall. Just give me one. And you're like, are you serious? Your voice cracks. So that was the first one I did. Was for the Bose Art Festival. So again, yeah, here's like the linoleum. Uh, just these really like doing this kind of work is just amazing fun. I really want to get back into it someday. There's this fly. So the Bose Arts Festival is like this. The posters were always like kind of creepy. Uh, so I would like this kind of like jester demon guy is like feeling up a woman. Wouldn't be able to do that nowadays. Well, actually, you can. You just like fuck everybody who complains about it. And then the second one was for my graduation exhibition, and so he came up to me and he's like, "I really enjoyed working with you on the first project. Let's do another one. Would you like to do your graduation poster with me?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't even know what to say. Thank you, of course." And then so the next one was I'd been to Japan twice before I graduated college and loved sumo. Everything I was drawing was all sumo wrestlers. Like just everything. I would like find a way to make sumo the theme of all of my projects. I don't know why, it was crazy. And then so my I did another one, and this is the linoleum cut. This one's really really detailed, and it's basically it's a self portrait. It's difficult because this is a reverse, of course, but this is all like the little detailed cuts and what have you. So I took it to his studio, and he takes one look at it, and I had spent a ton of time doing the illustration, cleaning it up, transferring it to the linoleum, and then cutting it all out, which had taken weeks. And then I bring it to his. We've got a weekend to work on it. I take it to his studio, and he looks at it, and he's like, "This looks wonderful. This is going to be a great poster. Only one problem: we are going to be using a lot of ink on this, and all of these cuts, the majority of these cuts, are too shallow." And I was like, "Oh no, you're kidding me!" And he's like, "All right, but what we'll do, what I'll have you do is there's the printmaking teacher, the professor. He said, go to him. He's got a set of those the glasses dentists wear when they have to work on you, right? I don't know what they're called, the dental glasses, dentist glasses, whatever. The ones, the magnifying ones. He's like, he'll lend you some of those with a Dremel tool." So, yes, I'll tell you a story about that here in a second, Canadian Spider-Man. Um, so I had one night, something that had taken me 2 to 3 weeks to carve. In one night, I did an all-nighter with a set of dentist glasses, goggles on, magnifying goggles on, with a Dremel tool, and had to go into every single one of those grooves and make it deeper. Yeah, because okay, so like here, let me explain this to you. I'll try to. So the press that he ran it through, like one of those old, like newspaper, not newspaper, well, kind of like a newspaper printing press, where you had to set all the type. You had to set all the type, right? So in a lino cut, you have all of these grooves. Now all of this is cut out of like linoleum. So if I hold it, you can see, right? Now, if I was to print it off, like if I was to print it by hand, if I was to print it by hand with a brayer, it wouldn't matter because I was using a very small amount of ink. But when you're working on a gigantic newspaper printing press, a movable type one, um, they use a lot of ink. And so what happens is it doesn't stay just on the surface, it goes into the grooves a bit. But if it goes deep and down enough into the grooves, it won't print. It'll stay in there. But if the grooves are too shallow, then that excess amount of ink, because you use more ink on the printing press one than you do if you're just doing it by hand. If you're printing it by hand. So you use an excess amount of, you use a larger amount of ink. Therefore, those grooves, it will go off into those grooves. And if those grooves are too shallow, then the ink will overflow. And what you'll do is when you print it out, all of your detail will be gone. The small little parts that are too shallow, the ink will fill up in them and it will print. So your areas that were supposed to have no ink on them will have ink on them. So I had to go through with a Dremel tool and those dentist goggles, magnifying glasses, whatever, and just dig in to every single one of those small little grooves. And it took me a whole night, a whole day and night. Oh yeah, whatever I'm doing, I've in college I did like everything. I did photography classes, like painting classes, watercolor classes, illustration, graphic design, printmaking. We had to do sculpture. I'm not really good at the 3D stuff though. Not that I'm not. I just haven't really tried my hand at it very much. Haven't really gotten into it. But printmaking, I love printmaking. Um, it was definitely uh, my favorite in college. So it's funny during my graduation exhibition, even though I had majored in communication arts and illustration, like half of my work was from printmaking as well. And then I had another glass case that was full of all my photos. It was pretty cool. Back then, we had to take our photos on film camera, Uh, we had to, um, yeah, we had to expose our film, and then we had to print each picture individually. And printing one picture to a point where you're satisfied with it will take you an extremely long time. So back to Canadian Spider-Man and your question about the chanko nabe. Funny that you asked. The very first meal I had in Japan was chanko nabe. Uh, I went to Osaka University of Education for a year as an exchange student, and I got off the plane. Basically, one of the guys who was like in the international department at the university was there. He came and picked me up with a guy that was from that I like a friend of mine who had went a year before me and was studying there. And when he come pick me up from the airport, he was drunk, had a beer in hand, was drunk, and yeah, ready to go out and have a good time. And mind you, I'm like jet lag central. Uh, just got off a very long flight. It was just like kind of out of it. But we got back to the university, and it was dinner time. So the Japanese professor, uh, the Japanese linguistics professor. All right, Mr. Grant Graham, thank you for coming out here, man. I really appreciate it, dude. I really, really appreciate it, man. And again, DM me about that project. Um, so yeah, we get to the university. I bring my stuff into the room, and then they're like, "Okay, we're going out for dinner." And down the road, there was uh, for all of you out in the chat that aren't aware of it, the meals that sumo eat to put on all of their weight. One of the main meals is called chanko nabe. It's a big, huge, kind of like, what would you say, like a brothy soup full of all kinds of meat and vegetables. And so the owner of the restaurant he had been a sumo. He was a retired sumo wrestler. So his restaurant had all of the sumo autographs in there with their hands on them. They put their hands on them. Had those all over the place. Had like all the posters. Really nice restaurant. And one thing that people aren't aware of is some sumo wrestlers, I'm not going to say all of them, also practice the arts of like singing. So they know like these traditional sumo songs. So the owner of the restaurant came out and as a special service that night um, to all the new arrivals, because I was one of, I think there was like 3 or 4 people who arrived on the same time that I did. Yeah, he came out and did like a whole song for us, a couple of songs, traditional sumo songs. So that was my first kind of memory, from my uh, my study abroad time at Osaka University of Education. On a sad note, I just found out I went to Fukuoka 2 weeks ago to go see my friend Joel. We hadn't met for 10 years. It's been a long time. And we worked together. Like, when was it? I went to Osaka in 1998, 99. And then, yeah, they're superstars, man. Yeah. Um, I went to Osaka in 98, 99, went back to the States, graduated, and started working in 2002. And the guy that I worked with, one of the guys I worked with, he's from Pennsylvania. I just met him a couple of weeks ago. He started working at a college in Japan called Ritsumeikan in Beppu. And we were talking, and he mentions the name of one of his coworkers, Bree. And I'm like, Bree? That's not a very common name. And he talks about how like she studied in Osaka. I was like, wait. And I was like, is it this Bree from Australia? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah. Do you know her? I was like, yeah, we studied together in Osaka back in 1999. It's just a small world here, man. And yeah, so she's a really, really good girl. Uh, it was really unfortunate. A lot of what she was, a lot of the research that she was doing and was on, suicide because her, yeah, it isn't. Well, she was, yeah, fuck Brie Larson. No, this Brie, she gave Brie a good name. Um, her sister had committed suicide whenever she was younger, and so she made it like her one of her life's missions to do research into that, to talk to people, uh, to write papers, and you know, make an effort to try to you know make some kind of positive impact on that. You know. And then I went to see my friend 3 weeks ago, and I found out she had like a couple of kids, got married to a I think she got married to a Japanese guy, had a couple of kids, and I found out that yeah, she passed away. Uh, just just one day she wasn't feeling good and went into the doctor, found out it was some kind of you know terminal disease that there was just no chance of her recovering from. And I hadn't heard any of this at all. And just, I don't know, it's not the most happy of stories, but it just goes to show you that you never know. You never know. But yeah, to Bree, she was a great girl. Her Japanese was really good too. And I remember whenever I was studying with her, like I was a real beginner at that time. Whenever I was doing my foreign exchange stint, I could hardly like say anything at all, just my name and where I'm from and how old I was and stuff like that. And she got there and she was already doing like she was going there as a graduate student in Japanese linguistics and what have you. And dude, man, like I was like, how did you do it? How did you get to speaking Japanese this well? And yeah, she just I admired her and uh, yeah. So there you go, Bree. She did justice to the name. Brie Larson could never take that away. Put on some more music here. Yeah, listen to that. Sorry if it's depressing to you guys out there, but yeah, it's just part of reality. Which is another reason I'm just not going to sit around and live in fear. I know I could, but I just won't do it. I'm ready to, yeah. What will be. But But I'll tell you what was scary is traveling to Vegas and having to walk around everywhere because I was trying not to spend money on like taxis and shit all over the place. And I had to get my test done, like rapid PCR test. And man, they had us waiting outside in the sun, no shade, 104, 106-degree temperature, not a cloud in the sky, just completely exposed to the elements. And I was thinking to myself, man, I'm going to die in Las Vegas from a heat stroke. But I kind of just like, all right, I didn't come this far to die from a heat stroke. I'm not going to let it happen. Uh, but unfortunately, two girls behind me, man, she was like, I'm not feeling so well. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And as soon as I got through the door, I turned around and they're like, She's passed out. She's fainted. She'd yeah, had a heat stroke. Was completely unconscious. That was a scary moment. So, to talk about this art method I'm using right now, I'm not using these Copic white opaque uh, what do you call it? Like whiteout fluid. I'm using the white ink from Liquitex and mixing it with my other Liquitex inks to give it like an opaque color. Because if you just use yellow, yellow is way too transparent. You won't see it. But if you mix it with a white ink or like gesso or something like that, then you could get this vibrant, um, yeah, look to it. I say I'm going to work on that night, but I just can't stop working on this demon, man. It's so fun. Like you get lost in it. I wonder if Eric July would ever have any like use of my skills. But I'm sure like his art style, he's looking for something maybe more of a modern look. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because he's starting up his own, you know, company. And shoot, I didn't even think about that. He made a call out for artists, but he's got like, you know, professional DC artist person working for him now and stuff like that. I don't know. There would be an opportunity for me there. Eric July, if you're out there listening, DM me. Well, but I want to have a bigger portfolio. Right now, I feel like my portfolio is a little too small when it comes to this range of work, and I need to produce a couple of works of my own. I feel like until I could start like yeah. But what I do is I work pretty quickly though. This one I've been taking my time with it, but usually I can finish a piece like this in a lot shorter time. But I guess it just comes with experience. Oh yeah, man, no problems. I just like I don't even know if anybody's listening. I'm just like talking right now, just blabbering away. Yeah, like I look at stuff like Spawn and things like that. I know in my heart of hearts that for me to get, I don't think I will ever be able to do like the equivalent of what he does, Tom McFarlane. But that's I just like his style is so much different than mine, and I feel like if I was to try to, oh, thanks, Sherry. I just basically I feel like it just feels very natural for me. I don't feel a hesitancy to talk about anything around you guys. Just letting it all go. But I look at their kind of artwork and I'm like, of course I love it, and I know that I will never ever be able to do stuff that they do. It's just insanely good, and they've had so much time and experience. But I think there's an audience out there who will appreciate what I'm doing, and I don't know. Who knows how big that audience is? And I tend not to think about that kind of stuff. I just want to concentrate on having fun doing it. Just have fun. Yeah. I mean, before I used to like be really conscious of, you know, other people's work and comparing mine to theirs and feeling depressed if I thought that, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get that good. And, but then you gotta just realize that the person you gotta impress, say this over and over, it's kind of like a mantra. Person you gotta impress is the person that you see in that mirror every day. And other than that, hey, you know, you can't impress everyone. Now, but if you are working for a client and the client is looking for something the client's not impressed, well, then you got a problem because they're paying you money. Uh, but you know, it's just something that you're doing kind of for yourself. I guess you just kind of can't sit around thinking about how better other people would do it. It's your project, it's your job. Unlucky Morpheus. Okay. Man, Low Spec has got his music knowledge. I'll give him that. I know I need to start working on this night. I might have to do that in another stream. It's getting around 1:30. I've been on here. Well, I was doing another live stream for about an hour mark when it went down. So yeah, I'm about the 2 hour 20-minute mark right now. Oh, really? I wonder where they're playing at. Are they playing what? Are you talking about? Are they Japan? Unlucky Morpheus. So has anybody out there seen the new Bond film? I'll be honest, I'm not really interested in it, but I do want to see the new Dune film. Morpheus. That brings me back to after I did my first stint in Japan as the exchange student. As an exchange student, I the first thing that I did when I came back to America, well, it was basically like the day after I got back. The day after I got back, all of my friends said, "Hey, we're gonna go to the movies. Are you up for it?" Because I was like still having jet lag. I'm like, yeah, I'll come out to the movies. I'll go work with you guys. And I'll have to check them out, man. Um, yeah, I'll give them a little listen to. Actually, I'll put them on right now. If I can hear my headphones. So I this was 1999. I Yeah, it was 1999. I get back to the States after a year in Japan, and everything in Japan at that time was Leonardo DiCaprio everywhere because Titanic had come out. Of course, it came out in the States first, and then it came to Japan afterwards. So I had to go through two-year long like DiCaprio craze time. So I was in America first, and Titanic had come out. Celine Dion was everywhere. Everybody going crazy about Leonardo, blah 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 blah. And then I get to Japan, and it was like Titanic Part Two because it had come out like later. So there were still posters of Titanic everywhere. Leonardo DiCaprio's face was on everything. All the girls, all they would ever talk about was Leonardo DiCaprio. And that's all like the movie, that's all you ever heard about the whole year I was there. Nothing else. So I get back to the States And my friends are like, hey, let's go out and see a movie. I'm like, sure. And they're like, I was like, oh, so what movie you guys going to watch? They're like, well, there's this one coming out. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. It's called The Matrix. I was like, the what? The Matrix. Yeah, you know, Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted's. Like, oh, yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's in it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I hadn't seen anything about the movie, hadn't seen a preview, hadn't seen a poster, didn't even know. I had like zero knowledge whatsoever of what this movie was going to be. And man, was I blown away. Like, I didn't, it was surreal being back in America after a year being in Japan because it takes you time to kind of like get readjusted to life here. Well, there, I'm in Japan now. But on top of that, going into this, you know, like this, the world of the Matrix, the movie, and just how it's these two different worlds, I felt like I could relate so much with it at that time. Like, man, I am into. I had just come out of like Japan, and I was back in America, and that was two different worlds, and like what was going on here with the Matrix, and with like, and this everything about the movie was just completely amazing. And yeah, that was my Matrix memory. I had no idea what I was getting into and left that theater. It was like, oh my God, this is it. This is awesome. And I wasn't expecting a sequel at all. And it was funny that the sequel came out. I believe it was 3 years later. Was it 3 years later? And I was back in Japan at that time, 3 years later. And I watched the second Matrix at a theater in Japan and the third one at a theater in Japan. No, no, no. Oh, yes. I watched the second and the third Matrix at theaters in Japan. And it wasn't the same experience as the first one, not even close. But no, that first one, that whole experience was, and you don't really get that anymore. The whole mystery about what the movie's going to be about. You already know like the plot, and you know like who's. Do you know what? I wish I didn't even know who was in the movie. I don't want to know who's going to be a surprise. You know, make a surprise appearance. I don't want to know anything about it. Just maybe like a tiny morsel, and then other than that, that whole mystery, and then being really surprised. Yeah. Well, after that, total meh. But that I don't think since that movie I've had the same experience where I went in to watch something and had absolutely no idea whatsoever what it was going to be about, what the theme was. Um, and yeah, that's something I think that would be nice to go back to. But with this day and age, you know, everything is you just know so much about the movie before it even comes out, which is why it's kind of nice to see how they're doing this with Dune. You don't really know everything that's going to be going on. It seems like they're kind of taking that approach with it. There's not too much that's being shown. I guess maybe I could be wrong about this, but so yeah, I don't know. Could be exciting. Now, Andre from Midnight's Edge, he had a lot of really good things to say about it. So and yeah, I take a lot of what he I think has a good perspective when it comes to a lot of those entertainment. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. Because they could take it away, you know, kind of like deviate from the book and the actual source material, um, and go a little bit of a different direction. That could be fun. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I think I'm going to call an end to the stream here in about 5 or 6 minutes. Uh, I haven't been sleeping at all lately, and uh, mind you, though, like just sitting here and talking to you guys is awesome. I can do this all night long, and it actually literally has been all night long. But it's running on the 1:35 mark here, and I kind of want to try to get to bed before 2 o'clock tonight because Got a big night this weekend because, drum roll, they are lifting all the restrictions on all the restaurants and bars over here. Yay. All the restaurants and bars around here had to be closed by 8 o'clock for a month now. And on top of that, they couldn't serve alcohol after 7:30. And nobody, literally nobody in Japan drinks in the afternoon or at times like that, even on the weekend, unless it's like a barbecue at someone's house. People just don't drink in the afternoon here. So there's been no like people, unless you go to somebody's house, there's no like social drinking going on anywhere. So everything opens up tomorrow. So I'm going to take a friend and I, we're going to go out and play darts tomorrow night. And then maybe Saturday night, we might have pas de Dieu. We'll have to see. But yeah, kind of like need to save up some energy for tomorrow. Because tomorrow's a big day. I've got 5 classes tomorrow. 5 classes, yeah. Yeah, let me show you what I got going here. Yeah, so this is a close-up. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think I'm getting better at this, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm starting to capture that comic look more and more and more. But not looking exactly like other comic book artists, because I don't want to look exactly like other comic book artists. I want to maintain my own unique style, but something that could be applicable for this genre of art. But yeah, I think I'm. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to put a. You know, I say I'm going to finish, and I never do. I'm going to. I've got some paint that hasn't dried here yet because this acrylic paint dries pretty much as soon as you put it down. But I had like a whirlwind of fire going down on here that you can't really see. So I'm going to go in there and work on that just for a little bit, putting some highlights down there, and then I'll call it a night. How about that? Oh yeah, that'll work. Actually, I thought it was still wet, but it's pretty much dried. Maybe it's a sign to hit the hay. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might call it a night there, guys and gals. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Oh, actually, I can put some of that in here. Yeah. All right. Hey, man, you're going to have to make your way over here and see him live. Put it on the bucket list. You can do it. All right, guys. I think we could call it a night. Appreciate everybody coming out here and checking it out. This is what I've got so far. I want to work on the knight down here a little bit. Haven't done his sword. I want to go back and put some highlights in the armor, tighten him up, make him look better. As far as the demon goes, I'm very happy with it. It's just, yeah, it's looking very sinister. I even like what's going on in the background here with this kind of like arbitrary, abstract kind of architecture. It doesn't really have any kind of sense to it, but I kind of like that being arbitrary. There's the pool of fire down below. I really like what's going on with these highlights. Things I really want to change are the what's going on here. I think the bottom half is a bit weak, so I have to go back in there and work on some stuff. But yeah, there you go. That's all for now. Apologize again about the internet dropping out there for a bit, but that's something that was out of my hands. Can't control the internet gods. They choose to take action without our permission or consent. But I don't know when I'll be on again. Honestly, I need to work on probably concentrating with because it's not difficult to actually concentrate and talk to you guys at the same time. But I think for the purposes, I want to kind of keep the final product with the Friday Night Tights caricatures. I want to kind of keep that the final product secret. So I don't know if Gary and them is going to use them. So I kind of want to keep them secret and leave them as a bit of a surprise. And I need to work on those next. So I'm going to leave those kind of a surprise and stay away from working on those on live streams. So I don't know exactly when the next live stream will be. But next week, I'm sure I'll do a couple next week. So for now, thank you all again. Thank you for the thumbs up, participating in the chat. Thank you for the subs, the watch time. Just thank you for being you. And until next time, take care. Thanks, Lospec. I'll check out that music. Unlucky Morpheus. Good night. Good morning. Good day.